Hi, my name is Jake Yates, and this is my first journal entry for this class, Education Field Studies with Dr. Thompson. On the first day, we arrived at Williston Middle School to begin the poetry project. Once we were inside the school, we were given a name tag and had a meeting with the school principal, after which we were given a tour of the school. Following the tour, we gathered back in the library so the students could pick the teacher they wanted to work with for the poetry project. The first thing I noticed about Williston Middle School was Williston's obvious school spirit. There were paintings of wildcats and the school motto, Williston, we are still the greatest school under the sun, everywhere. In fact, the student giving us the tour even had a Williston t-shirt with matching yellow and blue Williston tennis shoes, which I thought was very cool. I even told him so. After the tour, we finally got to meet the students, which I was very excited about and a little bit nervous. Nervous about the student that would pick me, nervous about being picked by a student at all. So it was just a little bit nerve-wracking. We had a small meet and greet with all of the students, and then Dr. Thompson asked the students to pick the person they'd like to work with for their poetry project. And thankfully, Holly Price zipped right over to me. I was very excited to be picked by a student quickly, but also a little bit disappointed that I didn't get to work with more than one student. For the first day, we just got to know each other a little bit, and I read Green Eggs and Ham with her, and out of a Dr. Seuss book. I also had her draw a picture of a picture of her name on a folder, which she drew a big smiley face, and she was very excited to see me. The only weird thing, or slightly funny thing, I thought was that she said she picked me because I had soft hands, which I thought was a little bit weird, but it is what it is. So after the first day, I felt very good. Holly and I had an instant connection. She's a little white girl. She's 12 years old, brown hair, blue eyes, and she says she really likes nature. She calls herself a tomboy, but I think she's more girly than she lets on. For instance, every time she picks a color, it's like purple or pink, and she also brought the book Twilight with her to school a couple days ago. So she's very smart, and she said she'd written poetry before. Holly is great, and I think I'm going to have a blast doing this poetry project with her. The second day we went to Williston Middle School was when I met Slim. I guess he was a student that wasn't sure if he wanted to do it or what, but he decided he wanted to do it, and the second day he got to work with me, which I was very excited about, because as I said, I really wanted more than one kid, because I like a challenge. Slim is a little guy, as his name says, but the reason he goes by Slim is because he really likes Eminem, the rapper. So he's maybe a little bit smaller actually than Holly, also white, has short cropped blonde hair and blue eyes, and he's also 12 years old. Most of these kids probably are. Took me a little bit to get him out of his shell. I asked him kind of a lot of questions about him and what he was doing. I also asked him to draw his name on his folder, which I think that helps a lot, bringing them out of their shell a little bit. But once I did get him out of his shell, I learned that he's very intelligent and very deep, if maybe a little bit on the dark side. Talking about Eminem's songs and such like that. He also said one of his favorite video games was Call of Duty. So, but anyway, I'm sure lots of kids. Let's see here. I'm glad that he came that day because I had planned on doing a couple things with Holly that I think that he really benefited from. What I did was we were supposed to be working on a few things, for instance, figurative language and mood in poetry. So I picked The Silver Swan, the poem If by Rudyard Kipling, and also I picked Cherry Tree, and I can't remember his name. But the one they both got the most out of, I think, was The Silver Swan. The Silver Swan is about it's the silver swan who living has no throat, thus sang her first and last and saying no more. It's about a silver swan who's dying. And the last line is more fools now. I'm sorry, more swans now live than more geese now live than swans, more fools than wise. And it's just riddled with both of these things, which they both got very quickly. They both caught on very quickly. Um, even though it's obvious, they caught on more quickly than I thought they would. Overall, the experience has been very positive so far. Only thing I have negative to say was the cafeteria smell, which I think has every school has this terrible cafeteria smell that brings back memories. Um, One bit of criticism I have for myself is that I tend to judge their circumstances a little bit. Um, I know that they both probably have great parents, but just some of the things they say make me feel sorry for them. I know I'm not supposed to feel sorry for them. I also know that it doesn't do them any good for me to feel sorry for them. But it was one of the things I just couldn't help. Slim, for instance, talks about his dad constantly. He loves his dad, but he says his dad's not around very much. And I dug a little deeper, and it's because his dad works. I mean, he works an oil rig in Louisiana and visits whenever as often as he can. I'm sure Holly's parents are great too, and she's never said anything, but just some of the things she does makes me feel like I'm sure it's hard for her to get attention, given that she's one of 5 kids that her parents have. I was especially pleased with this past day we had because both of my students arrived to the poetry project early. Dr. Thompson was still talking to us, and they were still supposed to be in lunch. They came around 12:35, which was excited. It may have just been a coincidence that they both came early, but I like to think it's because they were just as excited to see me as I was to see them. Anyway, I'm looking forward to this entire project, and until next time.